Hello, this is Edith Newmeyer, and I am the author of the book, The Mystery of Adam. I will continue today with my section on the third temple. Now, I have done three um, videos on this man that's supposed to be sitting in the temple. Okay, so really, that's what I'm mainly talking about, this son of perdition, or this son, the man of lawlessness. And I have used now Jesus's um, pro, uh, prophecy about this man, referring back to Daniel, the son of perdition. I have done a video with that. I have looked at what Paul thought the temple of God is, and that the temple of God right now is being built by Jesus, which is the church. There is no indication anywhere in the Bible that there will be a third temple. During Paul's time, during Sean's time, the temple was destroyed. And there was no indication by any one of them that there's going to be a rebuilding of that destroyed physical temple. Every time I'm reading about the temple of God, it is either the temple of God, the church, which Paul really brought up many times. And in Revelation, when we hear about the temple of God, it is usually the temple of God in heaven, okay? Which I will talk, about this maybe in the next video more. When let's see, in Revelations 11, when John was instructed to measure the temple, right? That I am not 100% sure at this point. The temple of God is mentioned again, but I am not even sure if that is, what people call the third temple. I don't believe so. It could also be the temple in heaven, because every time John talks about the temple of God in Revelation, it talks about the temple in heaven. Okay, does not talk about a physical building here on earth. So I'm assuming that is actually that, but I will talk about that next time. Today I want to finish with Revelation, let's see, 13. Okay, again, I talked um, about this son of perdition, with what Jesus was talking about, and I talked about the man of lawlessness that Paul referred to in Second Thessalonians, which is most likely the same person because he is described the same way. And of course, I have talked about the beast from the sea in my last video, which again is that same. I don't want to talk about person because it is most likely a system. And when we looked at this beast from the sea, it's very obvious that that is son of perdition is not one man, but it's a system. And so I want to just continue because I believe that beast from the earth, which is the second part of chapter 13, is connected to that first beast, and it's easier to understand. Now, I'm not talking too much today about the third temple, but again, it is really much related, to that third temple, and especially to that beast from the sea who sets himself into the temple of God, which is the church. Okay, so I talked about that clearly. So let's look at this beast from the earth. That beast from the earth, I believe, is again a system. a worldly system, because it says the beast from the earth. So earthly system, worldly system. And it says, and I saw another beast come out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spoke like a dragon. Now this second beast is again seen by by Satan when he stands at the sand of the seashore in Revelation 13, first verse. He sees that too. However, we are not quite sure when that first beast comes on the scene. It doesn't necessarily have to be coming on the scene at the same time, and we will see when that beast actually came on the scene. But we just know it's a system that came out of the earth, had two horns like a lamb, so it's kind of innocent, looks innocent at first for sure, and then it speaks like a dragon though. Okay, so it has power, more power than just a lamb. And he exercises all the authority of the first beast. So it's got a lot of authority in the world. And in his presence, that means he is present. The first beast is still present when the second beast comes on the scene. And he makes the earth and those who dwell on it to worship the first beast whose fatal wound was healed. So he is instrumental in worshiping that first beast. And we talked about that actually as well. Now, I haven't talked too much about the second beast, but we will talk about that. And he performs great signs so that he even makes fire come down out of heaven to the earth in the presence of men. Now, he performs great signs. Remember, a sign is just something that we know, how would you say? Something we know that something is coming. It could be, a sign could be, we know that the end is here, okay? A sign could be that we know this is the beast out of the earth. So what are these signs that he is performing? He makes fire come down from the earth in the presence of men. Okay? How does that happen? Has that ever happened in the past? When was it the first time when we saw fire come down from heaven? Well, in order to have fire come down from heaven, we have something that actually releases that fire in heaven, which is airplanes. So we know that these airplanes had to exist first before that fire could come down. And that happened after the Second World War. Okay, or yeah, I think, yeah, Second World War was the first time we saw fire come down from heaven. Okay, the bombings that happened. And so it doesn't say that this beast is the only one who can perform this sign, right? But that beast has to be able to perform that sign. We have that today. Many people have the capability, many countries have the capability of bringing down fire from heaven. But this is not the only sign that we know that this is the beast from the earth, but it's one. So we know it has to be a kingdom or a system that existed after the First World War. It could have existed prior, but it has to last until after. So if we look at that system, it has to be, we have Russia, which was a huge system, a world system, great, can't say an empire really, but it was a great system, which fell. Soviet Union fell, and we only have Russia left. And Russia is not the empire that, you know, the world empire at this point. The United States right now is the empire that existed after Second World War. Okay, the United States kind of became this empire between the First and the Second World War. Already the First World War, and the United States took over world kind of dominion in a sense, but really it was not until after the Second World War that the United States really took over the being an empire, a world empire. So that's what this beast out of the earth has to do. Also, and 14 says, and he deceives those who dwell on the earth because of the signs which it was given him to perform in the presence of the beast, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast who had the wound of the sword and has come to life. So he will not only have the capability of the fire coming from heaven, but also the capability of deceiving people, okay? Majorly deceiving people. If you study the history of the United States, however, not your traditional stuff, but study United States history, after the Second World War, we see that the United States has deceived the world very greatly. Many things have happened that deceived the world. Today we can see this deception very strongly. Okay, we have so many false flags, false information. Deception is rampant today. Okay, I mean, I want to just mention these false flags. They are absolutely a deception. Okay, which I believe that our government is behind. And I'm not talking about the government that you're voting. I'm talking about the shadow government, the deep state, whatever you want to call it, that is really controlling our country. And those are the ones that are deceiving us, that are putting up these false flags. And if you don't know what a false flag is, maybe do some information, because I don't want to get kind of stuck in explaining what a false flag is. But we are very deceived. False information, and that we are so confused right now. We don't know what the truth is anymore. That our media, which our newspapers and information, the public information, that they are so in control of that deep state, that we don't get real information anymore. It's all false, and it's all kind of made so we would be manipulated. You know about propaganda, like Hitler used propaganda, right? So lies to manipulate, its people. And that's what the United States has done for a long, 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 long time. Okay. And so deception is, of course, rampant. And then it says this beast system out of the earth has to have the capability of making an image to this first beast and make that image even talk. That means give breath to it. It means they talk, come alive. Well, do we have, or does this image, this United States, have this capability? Yes. So that would be another sign that this beast has, that it can make images come alive. We have that today, right? We have TV, we have even now Skype. We have the capability not only to have telephones, but now we can see each other and talk to each other, over Skype or, other visual telephones. So we have that capability, and so we already have that. Okay, nothing is stopping from the United States to use these technologies and to now give power to this first beast out of the sea, which is papacy. Okay, we have the capability to be wired up with somebody and click on it, like for instance, Facebook. We click constantly on like buttons, right? Showing, hey, I agree with this, right? Even videos. Oh, I agree with that. So those like buttons are really good. Okay. So the capability is already there that we just through the computers show our like or dislike for something. And so we have that capability. And again, the United States has that capability. Doesn't mean somebody else can't have that capability, but that's a sign that this beast is already in existence or can already be in existence. Now, I believe most Christians today, or lots of Christians today, they are convinced that we're very, very close to the rapture and the return of Jesus or the tribulation time. Okay? So we are very close to this beast out of the sea being on the scene. And it is already here because I believe that beast out of the sea is the United States. Okay? There is no doubt we have that capability. The United States is the empire right now of the world. And the United States is capable of doing all these things. Now, one more thing, that needs to be there, and is that we will be so controlled by this technology that I was just starting to describe. Remember, John didn't know anything about the technology we have today, the TV and, all these things. Well, we have real images. You see me in real time, right? It's not just a picture, but I'm moving, I'm talking to you. You're on Skype. I mean, you're just talking to each other. John could not even imagine anything like that. So now we just have to have the capability that we are all cabled up. In other words, we already have cell phones, okay? Everybody's walking around with these cell phones. And it takes now that we are actually cabled up and controlled with our body. Now, cell phones can do that too, okay? But it's supposed to be a mark on the forehead or the right hand. Okay, many people believe it will be a chip that will be implanted. And not just any chip, but it has to be a chip that is capable of connecting us with the system, which is very easy today to do. Okay, instead of having this chip inside of your cell phone, you can have this chip inside, of your arm or your forehead, and now become a receptor. Okay, very easy. You can still walk around with a cell phone, but the the receptor is actually in your arm. Okay, so there's still some technology. Actually, we already have the technology, okay, to do all these things. Now we all have to do is accept this technology on our arms, and I think that will be done pretty soon. I mean, you can do the same thing on a cell phone, right? So when this image of the beast comes up on your cell phone, all you have to do is click on it and say, yep, I'm liking it or I'm worshiping it. Okay? I'm worshiping it because, see, worshiping is just, hey, I'm going to follow it. That's worshiping. Many people worship their cell phones today, right? Oh my goodness, they couldn't even live without the cell phone. So in a sense, there is a kind of a worship, that cell phone. So I, however, believe that the cell phone is going to be cabled up with your body because that way people can be controlled. Now, that is not there yet. I mean, sure, some people are cabled up already, but we still have the cell phones and people are getting used to being cabled up. So I think this beast out of the sea, I mean, out of the earth, is definitely the United States. Um, and you can continue to read. You will get this beast has a name, which is actually a number, 666. Um, and nobody can sell unless you have that mark. Now, personally, I believe this will not happen until after the rapture. Okay, it has to be. I think it will happen after the rapture because I mean it could have happened before, but that would definitely not allow the church to prosper anymore because it would be just totally hindered. And I also think it will happen after the Holy Spirit is taken out. It's my speculation. But anyways, so I believe that this beast out of the earth is very connected to the beast out of the sea, and it will um, allow this first beast to be on like a cell phone or um, like a hologram or something, and people will see it and be able to worship it. But who is instrumental in making this happen? The second beast out of the earth. So that second beast will give its power and worship and support this first beast, which is the papacy. Okay, the papacy. So I really think it's not just one person, like Trump or Obama or Prince William. No, Prince William, no. Okay, um, I think it is a system, and of course that system will work together. They're all going to work together to bring about, I think to bring about this world rulership. Okay, will world dominion, um, one world government, one world religious system, everything one world. That is definitely what this system has in mind. And again, this system is ruled by whom? By Satan. Satan came up with this system. Okay? He came up with this system to, number one, destroy the church. Okay? To destroy the church. And not just the church, of course, Messiah. He will try to um, mislead all the human beings on this earth, okay, and ultimately to destroy Messiah, which of course he will not be able to do. But anyways, I want you to keep researching this and let me know if you have any other ideas. I just thought it was interesting that we're already pretty far in what is going on. See, people think all this stuff is going to be happening in the future, and I don't think so. We're right in the middle, in the smack in the middle of it. We're right in the smack of the middle. Um, so give me your comments on the bottom, and let me know if you have any questions or what you want me to kind of look at next. I will definitely look at Revelations 11, and I will talk about next time about this temple of God that John was supposed to be measuring. Okay, I will be looking at next because that's also part of the third temple. That lots of people think, oh, that's the third temple. No, it's not the third temple. So some people will think that the third temple has to exist before, the tribulation starts, which I don't think either. Okay, and I don't even know if that third temple will ever be rebuilt. I mean, people say, oh, Trump's going to rebuild the third temple. But I don't see any reason. Again, I believe when the third temple is rebuilt, that is already the abomination. It's already an abomination of desolation. Okay? It will be an abomination of desolation. And yes, if it is standing there, you know what? Run to the hills, people. Run to the hills. I will finish up today, and I will talk next time again about the the temple in Revelation 11. So give me your comments, do your research, and I will talk to you next time. Let the Holy Spirit guide you. That is the most